Hey everybody, it's Mr. Mishanya here. I'm just making this quick video to talk through the instructions, the directions, and the objectives of our first project called What's Your Story? It's a chance for you to either tell a story, use a nonfiction narrative to make an argument, deliver information, or some hybrid of the two, but you're going to enlist the narrative to serve your purpose. You're going to enlist the narrative and tell a story using nonfiction narrative principles we've been studying in class for the last month to make your voice heard and tell your story. Maya Angelou said there's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside of you, and everyone has a story. I know we live in a very noisy world and it's become increasingly difficult to make your voice heard. We all have a story to tell. We all have a point to make. We all have an idea to share. What's your story? That's what this project is all about. Orson Scott, who wrote Ender's Game, perhaps it's a novel you've read or seen the movie, he said, everybody walks past 1,000 story ideas every day. The good writers are the ones who see 5 or 6 of them. Most people don't see any. Now, you've been doing things like the 100 Topics Project, the Camera Initiative. These were some simple exercises to help you start to notice the world around you and find something that grabs your attention long enough to say, maybe I want to make an argument about that. Maybe there's a point behind that. Or maybe it's an observation I want to share and just deliver some information. We've seen all different types of nonfiction narratives so far. We've seen people make arguments very explicitly. We've seen people just share ideas very generally. But the the point is, all of these authors have used story and story principles to engage the nonfiction through the narrative lens. And that is your mission. Your objective is you're going to compose a nonfiction narrative to deliver information about a topic of your choosing, make an argument, or both, some hybrid of the two. It's your opportunity to use the skills we've learned in class to make your voice heard and tell your story. Now, the standards we're going to address are those taken from the Next Generation ELA Learning Standards, targets we're all trying to hit. We are writing narratives to develop real or imagined experiences. We're focusing on the real because it's a narrative, a nonfiction narrative, using effective technique, well-chosen details, and well-structured event sequences. So underneath that, we're trying to engage the reader. We're trying to use narrative techniques. We're trying to use a variety of techniques to establish the time and the sequence of our piece. We're trying to convey a vivid picture. We're trying to provide some kind of conclusion or resolution that kind of draws the piece to some type of closure. The process along the way that's going to take several cycles is we're going to start by brainstorming a topic and an idea. During your next cycle, we're going to start by pitching these ideas to each other to get some feedback to further shape what our eventual draft will look like. Then we'll start creating a draft. Then we'll move on to responding to our drafts, both by looking at student-to-student responses and also student-to-self responses, where you reflect on your own writing. And then ultimately, we'll see what people are saying, see what we're saying, and revise the piece to publish it for our audience. The process is going to take several cycles. And in those cycles, there will be opportunities to conference with me one-on-one to discuss your writing. Remember, this is not an essay. Don't make it sound like an essay. This is a nonfiction narrative. And your finished product is going to look like a story. Think of the articles we've read. How factory farms play chicken, the case for leaving city rats alone, when your child is a psychopath, using the narrative to make your point. So this type of writing, your finished product, may be the genesis for your college essay. You might have something in the can now that you could use down the road. If you have a job application that asks for a personal statement or something you want to use to apply for an internship, you've now got a powerful piece of nonfiction narrative that you can adapt to so many real-world applications. Again, as Anton Chekhov said, don't tell me the moon is shining, show me the glint of light on broken glass. And it's the narrative that allows us to fulfill that old adage of showing, not telling. So I hope you get excited. I hope you get creative. I hope you start thinking about what you want to write about and find your story to share with us, because everybody's got a story to tell, and the story is a powerful way to make your point. Happy writing.